Hey there, friends! Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter, Billie.
Hi.
And here's where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. Sadly, it is time to say goodbye to spooky season. Till next year, at least.
It'll always be with us in our hearts.
And the spookiest thing about this spooky season was that we didn't get to play as many games as we wanted.
It was
But
kind of a hectic month.
we did get to play some that we really liked. So we're going to talk about our favorite play for this month. Then we're going to talk a little bit about games that came in and games that went out. What was your favorite game you played this month?
The 5 minutes of Verdant we played.
You took my favorite just to be a brat. That's not okay. Pick your own favorite.
Fine.
Was that really your favorite?
It was really fun. I liked it. We only got to play a few minutes before chaos happened and we had to go to bed. But
We're gonna talk about that soon. But was that really your favorite, or are you just messing with me trying to take my favorite?
a little of both.
So
Blood on the Clock Tower was also pretty fun.
Okay, yeah, we did. We got to play Blood on the Clock Tower for the very first time online with a group of friends, including Max and Doolin from Table Knots and Jeff and Jamie from Foster the Meatball and some other friends. Billie and I were very anxious about playing this.
Yeah, I was really nervous because I had zero idea how it worked going in.
Yeah, I was really unsure of what we were supposed to do, and because it's all hidden identities, you can't really ask for help, but in this game you can, because
Hey, I'm the bad guy. What am I supposed to do?
But you can talk to the storyteller in private. Mm-hmm. The only danger is that people know who you're talking to in private.
Yes. The storyteller was played by Max from Table Knots.
Yes, who was an excellent
He
storyteller.
did a really good job teaching us the game. I figured out what was going on way quicker than I would have without him.
Right, and I think the fear of this, for me, just like the fear of playing RPGs, is that I will do something to make myself look foolish. And I don't want to look foolish.
You look foolish?
And yet I keep making the videos. But it was really nice. It was a group of friends. Most of the people playing it was their first time. There were some that had played before, but it was a really welcoming game. I was the imp, so I got to murder people in the first round. It wasn't hard to understand my role. There were things that we definitely didn't get right, and there were things that if we played again, we would have to learn the other roles, and I can see why you would want to keep playing this over and over and over to be familiar with all of the roles that could come out. I loved this game. It was almost my favorite of the month. I would buy this game, except that usually it's Billie and I. And that is not
quite enough people to play.
It's not. And if we can play online, then I don't really need a copy.
Then we'll probably be playing with Max again.
And knowing me, I would want the really nice copy. And then we're talking a pretty big...
decent chunk of change.
Yeah, it is. So I am so happy to play this. I am hoping to play this at PAX Unplugged with everybody in person. That will be a lot of fun. My favorite game, as spoiled by Billie, would be Verdant.
There you go.
But it's not. It's Verdant.
No, it's not.
It is.
In French, maybe.
Which is by Flat Out Games in AEG. It's kind of the third game in that puzzly style from Flat Out Games, where you have Calico and then Cascadia and now Verdant. I'm not going to say definitively yet.
Although, to be clear, you did get to play a full game of Verdant. I didn't.
Yeah, I played
you actually know what you're talking about.
I played a full game solo and then made Billie try to play a game with me, but we started it at like 10:45 at night. And
yeah, and it's
way too puzzly to start when you're tired.
But the parts I did get, they seemed really fun.
I really like this one, and while it's too early to say, I think it might be my favorite of the three. I think maybe we'll do a little comparison video at some point, but it could be. We'll have to get a few more plays in to see where it sits in that list, but I had a great time with it, and it's a game about houseplants, and I didn't kill any plants.
Well,
I didn't. You can't actually kill the plants.
Only because you can't. I'm sure if there was a mechanic for it.
So I also want to talk about the one big game that I was really looking forward to that we did not get played during Spooky Month, and that is My Father's Work. Yeah. I really, really wanted to play this game. And we still will. We're just going to...
Absolutely.
It's spooky in the fall. We're still going to play it. And honestly...
I'd play it any time of
I
year.
would play it any time of year because it reminds me of one of my favorite movies, which is Young Frankenstein.
But it is kind of a big, time investment. And more just in learning it and setting it up. And it takes a lot of spoons to play that.
It does take a lot of spoons. I did learn it. I did open it all up and learn all the rules. But there was never a big enough window for us to sit down and play the whole thing this month, which seems to be the theme of this month. So we're a little disappointed that we didn't get to play it, but still, it's right up there. You can't see, but there's a whiteboard with what we play next, and it's right up there at the top of the list, so hopefully it will get played.
There's only 2 things on the list, but it is at the top.
It is at the top of those 2 things. Shush you.
Does it count as a list when it's only 2 things?
It counts as a list if there's only 2 things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about games we backed on Kickstarter. We've been trying so hard. What are you doing? What? Did you back more?
I have to check. I'm not sure.
Let's talk about games I backed on Kickstarter. I only backed 3 campaigns.
No, it's okay. One's a video game and one's an RPG book. I'm safe.
I only backed 3 campaigns, but one of the campaigns was for 3 games. So I'm not really sure how to count that.
I feel like that counts as 3.
No, it's 1 campaign. But I backed the trio of games from BoardGameTables.com that included Roll to the Top, Pollen, and Big Top. And Roll to the Top is roll and write, where your sheets are landmarks. So you're building out your roll and write scores onto landmarks. Don't know that much about it. Looked fun. Pollen...
But you still backed it.
I did, because Pollen...
Okay.
looks to me to be similar to like A Gentle Rain, which we keep lamenting is out of print and we can't get any copies of. And even though we have our copy, I know a lot of people who would want one. Pollen gave me that same vibe. You're building this out. You have little butterflies and flowers to put in. Tile placement. It looked like that same kind of chill game, so I backed it right away. And Big Top is an auction game, and if you're getting 2 out of the 3, you might as well get the 3rd, so we backed for all 3. The other one we backed is Race for the Raft, which is in the world of Isle of Cats, and it is a cooperative tile placement game. We really enjoyed Isle of Cats online. We did not purchase it because my sister owns it, and it's a big game, so only one of us needs to own it.
You were this close to purchasing all of it.
I know, I had it all in the cart. But we do have the Explore and Draw, which we like a lot, and it gives us all the same feels, but, smaller footprint. But we did back Race for the Raft because I like the idea of trying to turn the tiles and manipulate the board to get these...
Cats.
To get these cats onto the raft cats. While you're forced to put down these polyomino-shaped fire tiles that are blocking all the paths as you go. That one looks like just our speed. Very excited about it. And the third one we backed is Dreadful Meadows because, yes, please, we would like to harvest candy with spooky guys. It's that simple. We got a few games in. Not too many games came in. The first one is Star Wars The Clone Wars, which is a pandemic game. I know. We didn't play it yet, but we did open it up and kind of ooh and ah at the minis.
The minis are fun.
So we're ready to play this. And yes, I know we gave away Pandemic, but we did keep...
We did?
Yeah, we kept Cthulhu Pandemic. We got rid of original.
And
we were like... That's good. We don't need any other pandemics. But then
Star Wars happened.
Star Wars. And I think we have to at least try it. We are getting better now. Just because we try something doesn't mean it stays. But the odds of us getting rid of a Star Wars games are...
Nothing Star Wars can leave.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to stay here. The next things that came in were 3 expansions for Rolling Realms, which I can't show you because I've already mixed them all into the box. But they were for Honeybuzz,
Ooh.
Feast for Odin,
Ooh.
and Smitten. Yeah, okay. What is Smitten, you ask? It's another game that came in.
And it's definitely not set on a pirate ship.
No, it's this tiny little... It's... Okay. You hear the cackling? I'm gonna find a picture of the nice cover, and I'll put it right here. But I didn't look that close. I was invested in the gameplay. I thought it was a pirate ship. It is not.
It's not even close.
It's a giant mech, and it's really cool, actually. That said, it's just a nice little. I think it's 19 cards, and you're trying to put them in numerical order in 2 grids. In some ways, it gives me the feel of like Food Chain Island, because it would be easy to just jump the cards over, but the cards also have powers. So if I place a card down at the wrong time, even if it's in the right spot, it may cause a chain of things to happen that would prevent me from being able to complete both of my grids. It's a nice little puzzle. I've played it solo. I am going to say one really important thing about this game. If you're a solo player,
it's not a pirate ship.
It's not a pirate ship. But also, these are the kind of solo rules that I like the best. When I turned the page to the solo rules, it said you do not have to read the other rules in order to play this solo game. And they just gave you the rules for the solo game. Thank you for not making me learn a version that I wasn't going to play just in order to play the solo version.
You're not going to play it with me?
I mean, I might. I might play with you. It's for 2 players with a solo variant, so sure, I'll play with you. What do you think the odds are that you play with me or that we play solo-ish where you heckle?
That sounds more fun.
See? Anyway, Smitten from Stonemaier Games is absolutely adorable and cute and quick and nice and puzzly, and you can just chuck it in a bag. Look at this. The next game that came in is Village Rails from Osprey Games, and these are the people that brought us Village Green, which I don't think you've played. I think I only play it solo. Technically, this game is for 2 to 4 people. There are some unofficial solo variants online. I just learned it and played solo. I think I'm going to keep looking to find a solo variant that changes up the drafting a little bit more. But this game is a lot like Village Green in some ways, where you're putting out goals along the edge, but you're building out a 3x4 grid of railroad tracks. Yay. And there are 7 starting terminals, and you have to get each of those lines to go out to the edge of the board. And when you do that, you get to score for the conditions you've put at the beginning of those rails, but it's just not quite that easy, because like all of my favorite puzzle games, like Calico, like Verdant, like Village Green, you just have to give up your hopes and dreams of getting all of the conditions met. You have all these goals, and there's no way that you're going to get all of them.
Well,
so you just have to
you're going to get all of them.
You just have to choose. I really, really, really enjoyed this game, and maybe you'll actually play it with me soon. But this one, I think, got played within a day of being here. Close. Okay. That brings us to our last game in this month, and that's Verdant.
There you go.
This is another one of those card placement, tile placement games that's just a puzzle where, like I said with Village Rails, it's unlikely that you are going to meet all of the goals and conditions that you set out to meet at the beginning. And what you're doing is building a grid, like a checkerboard of plant, room, plant, to try and get combinations of plants that are getting the exact light that they need, and rooms that have perfect objects in them, and sets of objects or different kinds of plants or different kinds of rooms. It's very hard to get all of those conditions met while you're building out this very restricted checkerboard. I love this one, and like I said before, I'm not quite positive yet. More plays are necessary, but this might be my favorite of the 3. You only got to play half a game, but you liked it.
Yes.
The rules overhead, it's not bad at all, right? I taught you the game in like less than 5 minutes. It's not hard to teach.
No.
But getting the pieces, it's like Calico. You know, take a tile, put a tile down at the heart. That's what you're doing in Calico. But you have to put the tile in the right place, and it has to meet a lot of conditions. It's kind of the same thing here. keep an eye out. I think we'll probably do a video comparing the 3. So we talked about games ordered and games in, and this month we're going to talk a little bit about games out. If you've watched this channel, you know Billie's opinion on whether or not games should leave the collection.
They shouldn't.
Mostly.
What?
Okay. I gave Billie a list of 40 games that I would be willing to part with. 40. And Billie agreed to a certain number. What do you think that number might have been?
0.
No.
-1.
No, it wasn't. You agreed to these.
-5.
You're going the wrong way. Out of those 40, Billie agreed to let go of 30 games. 30.
I don't remember that.
You do. They're all boxed up right over there on the chair.
I don't think that happened.
I'm not going to tell you each of the 30 games. I will say that there are some heavy hitters in there, like this one and this one, because they just aren't going to get played here enough. There's some even on that pile that we never... Okay, there are some on that pile that we love. There are, but they're not going to get played. No. And we gave those to a friend, so I feel pretty good about that. And there are some on that pile that we never played.
That's true. Which
is a little bit sad, but they were making us feel not great about games. So off they go to a new home. They're going to the farm. Of those 30 games, a handful went to a friend, and the rest are all boxed up and ready to go to our friendly local game store for trade-in, for donation, for whatever is going to get them out the door and on to someone else who's going to get to enjoy them and have fun. There aren't any there that were just bad games. We just weren't going to get to play them.
There's one there that's a bad game.
Okay, we're not gonna...
One of 30.
Okay, one of 30 was one that we didn't care for, but somebody else might. How's that?
Okay, that's a good way of phrasing it.
Okay.
We're not going to tell you which one.
So what's coming up in November? We are going to have our first podcast.
Ooh. Well,
yes.
Hopefully, assuming nothing goes wrong.
Okay, well, we're going to attempt to record our first podcast, and that's going to be
We're going to attempt a podcast.
Friends of ours are willing to be guinea pigs and jump in with us. Max and Dolan from Table Knots are going to hop in. This will be available on our Patreon first, and then later on it will be available to other people. So if you are able, or if you want to, then you check out the information for our Patreon. Also in November, we're going to talk a little bit about why we play our games seasonally. We're going to have a look at the PAX games we bought last year, and if we still have them, and if we do, if we play them. Maybe that will keep us from impulse buying.
And if we have played them at all.
That might keep us from impulse buying too many games at PAX.
It won't. Spoilers.
We are going to do a video about what we're looking forward to seeing at PAX, and some other great stuff is coming up, so we have big plans. Plus, I decided to challenge myself to play a game every day in November, whether Billie's going to join in or not. So we might get a video about solo games. Who knows? Thank you for watching. If you like what you see,
or if you'd like to keep watching until we get one right,
then please like, subscribe, and share. As always, open tables, open minds, and play yourselves.
Bye!
Here's where we'll shop. Okay, that didn't work.
Here's where we'll shop.
We did, and I did some kind of weird hand gestures, like, dismay, that Billie.
Shelp.
Shelp.
Me shelp.
It's been really long week.
No, don't make the blooper over again.
Do I have to do... Was the last one okay?
The last one was fine.
Well,
the second blooper run was bad.
Oh, I didn't bloop it on purpose. Those are just my hands. What was your favorite game that we played this month?
We didn't play any games.
We did! We did play games.
I don't remember any games. I just remember neglect.
Oh, I had to work. What was your... Put my soda down. Did I say it funny?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm a jerk tonight. So now let's go to games we backed at crowdfunding. No.
At crowdfunding.
Because
I went to crowdfunding
today
and I backed a few.
That brings us to our last game in this month, and that is Verdant. I still think it's Verdant.
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 Do you want to ask the computer?
That brings us to our last game in this month, and that's Verdant.
There you go.
Again, this is another one of those...
Wow, I'm really pale.
Yes.